All right, welcome. So let's talk about the weekly schedule. So, how would you structure your strength training and your running? So, what we're going to do is we're going to give you a different video, a different routine, different exercise every day. But that doesn't mean that it has to be the day that you do it, right? We don't know necessarily what you're doing from a running standpoint. I don't know what your running workouts are or what you have planned. So, I want to give you the flexibility to say, okay, if we get this email on a Tuesday, do I have to do it on Tuesday? Or can I take that and kind of move it to a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? What do I need to do to give you the best chance of success? So, this is going to give you some insight into how you can help structure your training to be as optimal as possible. So the first thing we need to think about is what's the best day to do my auxiliary stuff, my little things, the extra things, the lifting, the mobility, all that. When you can get it in, right? Like as simple as it is, if you can get in the workout, that's all we really need, right? We're not too concerned with optimizing if it's going to be better here or there or the other day. It needs to be done, and that's the only thing we need to worry about, right? So as we talked previously, the consistency of the work is the name of the game. So if we can get it in, and that's all we focus on is just getting it in. So for you, figure out when you have the most time, right? Like what's going to fit well from your training schedule, what's going to fit well from a work schedule, what day is going to be ideal to be able to get in these workouts. So that's priority number one, just get it in. If you have flexibility, then you can get it in multiple days. Then we go down to the second one. We run first, we lift second. So if you're able to put them together and say, I'm going to go for my run, and then I'm going to come back and get my lift in. That would be the priority number two, to be able to do that, where you've found a day that works well for you to get in your work, and then the next day that you go out there, you're going to run, you're going to come home, you're going to get your lift in, or if you want to run in the morning, lift in the evening, that would be the next best way to go. And then finally, if you have to lift in the morning and then later in the evening have your run, that's kind of like our tertiary, our last thing that we do from a running and a lifting workout if we're going to combine the two on a day. We also could, if you're not running 5, 6, 7 days a week, you could have a day just designated to lifting and a day just designated to running, and that's totally fine. So for that, you don't have to worry about running first, then lifting, because you're only going to run or you're only going to lift on that day. So this is more for people who are doing more running, right? You're running probably 5 days or more a week. So if you want to have one day completely off of your week, then you've got to have a double day there where you do a run and you do your lift, or you do your run and your mobility and things like that. As we continue to develop the program and continue to talk with you more and give you more and more insight, we'll talk about warming up and like, what do we do before a run? We'll have a routine that we can try to work through before every run. That's totally separate than your lift. That's totally separate than your mobility. That truly is a warm up to help your body get prepared and primed for the task at hand, for the act of running. These lifting things, we need to be able to designate a different amount of time for that. So if you're going to double, we run first, we lift afterwards, if possible. We can always, not always ideal. We can't always get that done. If we're going to do them on the same day, but we can't do them one right after another, ideally you're running in the morning, you're lifting in the afternoon, if running is the most important thing. And then if we have to, we get the lift in the morning, run in the afternoon, or we do them on separate days. Okay, so a lot of different variables here, but number one, we know, okay, can I just get it in? Whatever day I can get it in is better than overanalyzing, thinking, okay, well, he said to run first, then to lift. Well, if I can't do that, just get it in, right? So whatever day you can get it in, whether it's in the morning, right beforehand, totally fine. And then we want to get a little deeper into it. We run first, lift afterwards. The last piece is hard days hard, easy days easy. So this is a belief that I have, that we want our hard days to be the hardest days of the week. If we're going to stress the body, let's really stress the body so that we can have an easy day where we deload, where we de-stress a day afterwards, right? Instead, what a lot of people do is they'll run a workout, and the next day they'll lift and they'll do an easy run, and the next day they'll maybe do another workout, and all of their days are pretty stressful, right? There's a high stress intent each day. Instead, what I would do is I would say, if you're going to do a workout on Tuesday, that may be a day you lift as well, so that it's really stressful, really hard on the body that one day, but then that Wednesday can be a really easy day, a light day, an off day, like something that allows the body to recuperate from the workout that you had done the day prior. So rule number one, we get the work in whenever we can get it in, right? It's better to get in some of this strength stuff, better to get in some of this mobility work than not do it at all. So don't stress yourself out. Don't overanalyze it and think, well, he told me to do it this day versus this day and I can't, so what do I do? Just try to find a day that works well for you, right? So that's going to be priority number one. Number two is if you're doing them on the same day, we want to run first, lift afterwards, or you can do it where you do one in the morning and one in the PM. I would rather run in the morning, lift in the PM so that you're as fresh as you're going to be for your run, because that's our top priority, right? Is we want the run to go really well, right? The lifting, the mobility stuff, that's all to lift up our run. So we want to be able to run first when we're as fresh, as low stressed as possible, and then get our lift in later in the day. So if they're back to back, we run then lift. So run is as fresh as it can be. If it's later in the day, we separate them throughout the day. We run first, we lift in the evening. And if it doesn't work like that and you have to do them separate days, you do them separate days, right? The third step would be if we can try to make it so that our hard days are hard and our easy days are easy, so that we're not always stressing the body. We kind of alternate these days of high stress, a couple of days of rest, high stress, days of rest. And rest is relative rest, right? We're not always going to take off from running an activity those days. We want to do make a little bit of an investment into our running and into our health every day. That's going to let it compound over time. But when we do make that investment from a workout standpoint or a lifting standpoint, let's really make that investment and make that a pretty big stressful day, and then get our easier runs in afterwards. So again, any questions on this stuff, let me know. Otherwise, we will give this as the educational piece for the week, and we will see you next time.